back to my channel. I hope everyone has a great day, and I hope everything is going great in your lives right now. Today I have a great message. I woke up, before I even woke up last night, I had a dream, and the scripture Job came to mind, and I woke up like, man, thinking about that. So I began to dive into the book of Job just to get a better understanding of what the Spirit was trying to show me. And so I'm reading, and man, Job is going through an array of things. If you don't know about Job, Job was a person who feared God. He stayed away from evil. You know, he was the richest man also on the entire earth. And so he had favor in God's eyes. God was very pleased with him. And so what happened was the heavenly courts, they had a meeting where Satan came before him, and he spoke with God saying, I was on earth patrolling, and I've noticed your servant Job. And he began to tell God he wouldn't fear you, or he would blame you if he lost everything, or if he were in bad health, that he wouldn't care anything about you. He wouldn't have integrity for himself at those points. So God allowed Satan to test Job as far as possible, but not destroying him, not killing him. So Job went through different array of things back to back, from losing cattle, losing his sons and daughters, losing his workers. He was in complete agony, complete hurt, complete pain, suffering. And what happened was, he had 3 friends that came to him, and they were just quiet for a few days, almost 7 days, if I'm not mistaken. And they were just quiet because the pain and suffering was so strong on Job. But finally Job broke silence, and he began to just speak out in misery, spoke about how death at that point in stage of his life, it would be peace and joy to him. Spoke about before then how he cursed his birthday, but never really blaming God. As a matter of fact, he said, when his wife came up and said, are you going to have that much integrity that you're not going to blame God for all that is going on? And he said, you sound like a foolish woman. Are we to expect God to just give us all good, that we expect nothing bad to happen? Job stood on integrity. So I go to the 4th chapter here, because after he got through speaking out to his 3 friends, pouring out his agony, his pain, this is what one of his friends had to say. And his friend is named Eliphaz the Temanite. And this is what he replied to. Start picking up from the 8th verse of the 4th chapter. He says, my experience shows that those who plant trouble and cultivate evil will harvest the same. A breath from God destroys them. They vanish in a blast of They vanish in a blast of his anger. The lion roars and the wildcat snarls, but the teeth of strong lions will be broken. The fierce lion will starve for lack of prey, and the cubs of the lioness will be scattered. This truth was given to me in secret, as though whispered in my ear. It came to me in a disturbing vision at night, when people are deep in a sleep. Fear gripped me and my bones trembled. A spirit swept past my face and my hair stood on end. The spirit stopped, but I couldn't see its shape. There was a form before my eyes. What that scripture told me, starting from the 8th verse here, is, and it brings up today's title, is always plant good seeds no matter what the storm is, no matter what trouble comes to you. Job was going through a harsh time, troubled time, but he never planted a bad seed that will curse him and ultimately harm him, kill him. But instead, he was going through a test to prove how loyal and truthful and how upright, a stand-up guy he was. The scripture says here in the 8th, he says, who plant trouble and cultivate evil will harvest the same. He's saying whatever you put in life, you will get out of. If you're living in life and you haven't noticed, everything here in life starts as a seed and it grows. God has given examples in his life on how things work, including ourselves. We grow from seeds from our parents, birthed out, and we continue to grow there. Within us, there are seeds of character that need to be developed to be to be spiritually mature, to grow into different levels and different dimensions in life. We have to be developed. We have to grow those seeds, and in order to grow them, they must be planted. They must be watered. You must give focus and attention to it daily, hourly, minutes, seconds, so that it can produce good in your life. The same thing for evil ways. We give attention to those, and we have evil things that come about when we shouldn't, but only give attention and focus to God's way, the good in life. Plant those seeds, and in due time, they will harvest to be great. It will harvest to be something good, something excellent in your life. Eliphaz was onto something when he said this in verse 8. Who plant trouble and cultivate evil will harvest the same. I say to you guys, no matter what the trouble is, no matter what you're going through, how tired you may be, whatever, because there's an array of different circumstances in our lives that are happening. Whether we're upset with where we are in life, whether we're going to work every day and nothing it seems like it's changing, whether we have family members on the end that we fell out with. It's just so many different things. And I say to you, no matter what the storm is, take it from Job, stand in integrity, move forward in God's ways, and continue to plant good seeds. Continue to develop those around you as well as yourself to do great things in life. Never giving in to evil's way, because what you fail to realize is evil is waiting and it's watching, hoping that you slip up, and God's protection around you is removed because of your disobedience, because of your planting of evil seeds, from speaking it out of your mouth, from doing it through your actions. So that protection will be broken and evil can come in and devour you like a lion, like a wildcat. Scripture goes in and says, a breath from God destroys them. They vanish in a blast of his anger. It says, the lion roars, the wildcat snarls, but the teeth of strong lions will be broken. God is everything. He's more than evil. He's more than Satan. What I'm saying is, he overshadows them. He overshadows the evil in life. Whatever's trying to overtake you, God can stop it in a second. Yes, God allows evil to grow you. Yes, he does. Yes, he allows a struggle so he can get you to your destination, so you can move forward instead of that stagnant position that you've been in for years. To get you out of that mindset that evil has put on you to procrastinate, but we call it patience. To continue to tell lies and fool yourself that keeps you in positions when God created you to grow, when God created you to move forward and do great things, where God designed you to be in his image. Do you feel that you're in God's image? That's what we were born for, to be in his image. Do you feel that you're there? And if you know that you're not there, then guess what? We're not done moving forward. We're not done growing. So don't settle. Keep moving forward. God has a plan for your life. He has a plan for our lives. And if we continue to allow evil to dictate our mindset, our thoughts, and we follow behind him, choosing his ways, we're planting those seeds. Follow God's way. Plant those good seeds. Eliphaz, he was onto something. Job, he was onto something. He stood firm. He could not be swallowed by evil because he wouldn't give in to it. Instead, because of that, everything else was destroyed around him, but he wasn't destroyed because of it. Because he stayed in the will of God and he stood on his ways. He stood firmly. And hey, I want you to understand, it's okay to let that stress out. Let it out. If you feel overwhelmed, let it out. Speak to God. Let him know how you feel, how hurt you feel, how you're upset about it. You got to get it out from being stressed and overwhelmed. It feels better. It brings about peace. God will swoop in and give that peace. But what we don't do is play the blame game. But what we do is continue to stand firm and plant good seeds no matter what. When you do this, you be leaders toward those around you. When you do this, those around you will see, I can get through the tough times that I may have, that may come to me, no matter how tough it is. Because I seen how Job did, man. Job was tough. Or I seen how my mother had went through it, and she, man, still stood firm. I know I can do it. We are to be a light. God is a light. So in his image, that means we're supposed to be a light of goodness, of greatness. So guys, I encourage you to plant good seeds in the time of trouble. Eliphaz, he was on to something. He was really on to something. And it says it. Man, no matter what, when you plant good seeds, you cannot be overtaken. When you're standing in the will of God, it doesn't matter what happens around you, whatever the circumstance may be. And I can speak, I got a testimony for that one. No matter what the circumstances may be, if you keep moving forward in God's ways, you will have peace in it. Though you feel the pressure, though you feel the suffering, you understand, like, it's cool. We're going to keep walking, we're going to keep planning, we're going to keep doing good. Because these are moments, these are seasons. This is not your life. Keep that in mind, guys. I love you. I'm not going to hold you too long today. Can't wait to see you next time or speak with you next time. But in the meantime, don't forget to embrace the struggle, because that's where the growth is. I love you. Later on.